I was looking for some lady named Charrette.
We're here to talk all about it.
Oh, okay. All right. All about her or about it? That's the big question. Our visit this morning with folks from Indiana and Indiana County with us, presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm, best personal injury lawyer 4 years in a row on the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online, marcusandmack.com. If you're watching on Facebook, the one nearest to you is Trajan Jones. And with him this morning is Josh Krug. And there's Joe Kinter over there as well. My goodness gracious. What a murderer's row we have here this morning.
Good morning, Todd. Thanks for having us on.
We've got this charrette, and people keep saying, what is a charrette?
It's a design charrette. Put the words together, and it does help, I think, at least allude to what the purpose of the charrette is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking the planning jargon, right? But pretty much it's a workshop. It evolves over time. It's an extended, kind of a brainstorming that builds off of itself and has components of it that are, geared towards specific audiences where you invite specific people to be there, but it's also an open house format throughout. So it's a really interesting process, and you start at a point A and don't just get to a point B. You might get to a point D, E, F because it's a intensive design activity.
Yeah, and it's free flowing too. That's the exciting part about it. And Trajan, we're talking in this case about the 8th Street corridor.
Yep, we're looking at 8th Street. We're looking at between Philadelphia and School Street. So we're thinking right off of campus. Like I said, going back to the whole purpose of the event and of the project is to create a more welcoming and inviting corridor between our downtown and IUP's campus.
Yeah, and the possibilities are really, they say endless, but they really are in this case. Joe, from the downtown Indiana perspective, this is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to increase foot traffic, ideally, between campus and downtown. The long-term viability of the downtown depends on having people there, and the easier we make it, the more inviting we make it for people to visit us along Main Street, the better chance we have at doing that.
Yeah. So this event, Josh, is going to be over the course of 2 days or 3?
It's over the course of 2 days. They're doing Thursday, September 25th, starting at 9 a.m., going through the day. There's various stakeholder sessions, some geared towards IUP students and staff in the afternoon, one towards downtown business owners, et cetera, nearby property owners, a social mixer in the evening, and then it goes into Friday, the 26th, again, starting in the morning, progressing throughout the day. And the really exciting thing, and this is where they're really trying to push, the most people to attend. If you can only pick one thing to get to, try to get to them all. But the Tactical Urbanism open house from 4 to 7 p.m. on the 26th, some of the ideas and the general design of the corridor, they're going to put some of those things into play in a temporary fashion so that people can experience it in real life. And it will actually allow you to visualize and experience what that corridor could potentially be.
Yeah, and therefore, with all of the different elements that can be played into this entire thing, there's ample opportunity for folks to have input as well as to see what ideas are already out there on the table. And that's what really is the exciting part about it for me. So, somebody that goes on Thursday at X time might want to come back later on Thursday or over into Friday. In fact, that's what you'd really like to see happen.
That'd be ideal. Like Josh said, if you can only pick one, the Tactical Urbanism may be the most exciting. But we definitely want to see people coming back. So, you come for a session, maybe it's lunch, go back to work, come back in the evening, continue to engage with us. And then also go back to what you said about in regard to the endless possibilities. That's been the primary work that we've been doing over the summer. We've gone out to a couple events and just did kind of some tabling to start getting the ideas, getting people to think about the future or the vision of what this corridor could be. So whether that's pedestrian oriented, whether it's economically oriented, looking at adding businesses along there, we have these ideas. And now this is the time on Thursday and Friday where everybody comes together and we put the ideas onto paper.
Yeah. Joe, when we were talking about, somebody mentioned the word stakeholders. I think it might have been me, but stakeholders in this case for downtown Indiana, they're not just along the Philadelphia Street corridor. They're not just at IUP. I mean, this really is all encompassing.
Yeah, for sure. The ultimate purpose is to make the downtown area as inviting as possible for people who live in the community, people who visit the community, students, business owners, people who work in businesses downtown. The idea really is to draw more people to the center of our community and to use this space in particular as a place for people to meet. And so part of the idea of the design charrette is to capture those ideas about what elements of the physical space would facilitate people wanting to get together and be together to spend time along that corridor.
Yeah, and I think what folks might want to keep in mind is we're not talking about ripping down buildings. We're not talking about stuff like that. We're talking about making the best use of what is an underused aspect of the IUP downtown Indiana connection.
Yeah, Todd, they're talking about streetscape improvements. They're talking about some, physical, changes to the corridor, but also, like you said, how it's going to be used. How can it be activated? How can it be comfortable, inviting, intuitive, right? So that there's the borough parking lot there. There's the trailhead for the Indiana multimodal corridor. There are a lot of things already there. And let's just be frank, this corridor and this particular area of Indiana has been looked at from maybe a little higher up perspective, but through the Indiana Community University District Master Plan, IUP, White Township, Indiana Borough working together to kind of plan around IUP campus about 10 years ago. And more recently in the Indiana Borough Comprehensive Plan, this area is pointed to as a catalytic project, right? So this is something where the Indiana Borough is already building off of, the downtown initiatives that they've undertaken for years, but we're going to be able to hone in on more details, et cetera. But like you said, it's not, we're not talking about some earth shattering, really, changing things to the point where it'll be unrecognizable, more so enhancements that the community builds consensus around.
Yeah, Trajan, what are some of the things that you've been hearing from folks when you've set up at some of these various events over the course of the summer? I'm sure people have some ideas or questions.
Yeah, no, park space is always a big one that's always mentioned, when we're talking about the borough and where we're going to go. We have a very clear lack of park space, so that's always an idea. Building along with what Josh said, kind of adding to or improving on the Hoodlebug trailhead that ends there at 8th Street, whether that would be continuing it and connecting it out to White Township, whether it would be adding more infrastructure, so another set of bike, the lock chains where they can keep their bikes, whether it's more of that, whether it's just simple infrastructure like water fountains, things like that, We've heard all these small ideas. Well, like I said, at the charrette, we can finally bring all these small ideas into one big, full plan.
Yeah. I'm going to propose a monorail.
All ideas can go into the hopper. The point of the charrette is to work through those and flesh those out.
Exactly.
Sometimes that hopper is a shredder, though.
Well, and I'll let Joe talk about it, but that's why I'm really proud of the work Indiana Borough is doing here. And from a county perspective, they're approaching this, very professionally, very. They're putting their full effort, best foot forward. They're bringing on Michael Baker as a consultant, so it's not. They're augmenting that work with in-house work with staff. I know Jeff Rakes is an on-call consultant. The work with downtown Indiana. So there's a lot of partners making this happen. But I'm really excited to see what Michael Baker will do with the day.
Yeah, Joe. I'm sure that downtown Indiana has had plenty of suggestions and plenty of questions as well, the businesses and some of the business folks.
Yeah, actually the whole community has been quite engaged throughout the summer. Yeah. And as Josh alluded to, having the true professionals here to kind of collect the information in a way that produces something tangible at the end, so that we all can kind of like see our ideas represented in a design and a plan that we can use to go implement. Is super exciting, and want to just reiterate our gratitude to the Pennsylvania Realtors Association for some of the planning money, the borough for the planning money that they contributed, which allows us to bring Michael Baker in and ultimately to produce this work product that kind of gives us the map going forward.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's, in the closing moments that we have here today, give people the details about the whens and the wheres and what to expect when they get there.
Yeah, so it'll be taking place this week. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally ready to go. It'll be Thursday and Friday. On Thursday, we'll be starting at 9 a.m. There'll be a public presentation, and then we'll continue throughout the day with different stakeholder sessions. And then Friday, we'll start it up again, 9 p.m., and that'll go through 4, which at 4, that'll start our tactical urbanism event, which like Josh said, we'll actually be outside in the corridor setting things up and getting a feel for how this would look in reality.
Where's the charrette?
The show, good call. It's going to be at the Artist Hand, so right here at the corner of 8th and Philadelphia
Yeah,
Street.
yeah, easily accessible, and folks can come and enjoy, and it'll be really interesting to see what kind of a turnout you get, because I know, in order to make this as successful as it can be, you got to have people
We
coming.
need the people.
And
yeah,
and
that's right.
the borough and the partners involved, I've been on the steering committee, so I've been able to see how this process has gone, so far. They're inviting the right people, they're inviting the public. That's why we're here today. So, really appreciate getting the word out. And like you said, the more people involved, the better product that we'll end up with.
Well, in the end, I don't think I'm going to get a roundabout out of this.
Not this one, but still on the table.
I don't think that particular area lends itself, maybe, but we can have a further discussion about that.
Did you see what Shapiro did yesterday?
I did not.
The governor had an event at, I believe it was in York, somewhere, where he talked about how roundabouts are working all across Pennsylvania and the great safety enhancements.
The
at
statistics are staggering, actually. They're not for everywhere, but you're right. Roundabouts can be a really good thing once you get used to them.
I want one there. I want
Yeah,
one there.
yeah.
Well, I'll come back on to talk about that at a future time.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, we'll make that happen.
We will.
Very good.
That's what we need, is to rip up all the streets all over again. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. The charrettes are coming too.
The charrettes are coming. Thanks, Todd.
That sounds like a musical group, doesn't it?
There will be music, actually. They're
yeah?
doing a pop-up event along with the tactical urbanism, and we didn't mention this. There'll be a pop-up vendors, and there'll be music playing, etc. So it will be a lively event at 4 to 7 on Friday.
Well, gee, yeah,
Yeah.
we need
No,
to
you
get
don't
that
even
out
call.
there.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks.
All right.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. Boomer Sports up next, brought to you by S&T Bank, People Forward Banking.